What I'm about to discuss impacts 1 in 3 women in their 40s and takes on average 5 years to seek effective treatment for. Why? Because it's either not discussed or it's considered normal. And if I actually titled the video that this device manages heavy menstrual bleeding, it would probably be censored and hidden in the algorithm because topics like this are taboo and people don't like to talk about them. So we don't find solutions to them. Meanwhile, it is one of the most common reasons that women visit a gynecologist, one of the leading causes of hospital referrals in all of women's health, and contributes to iron deficiency, as well as just disrupting daily life. And yet our treatments are limited to hormonal birth control, which some people cannot take or aren't comfortable taking, or you have to have a surgical intervention, which is not a guaranteed outcome. But the guarantees are medical bills and the risks associated with anesthesia. But now there's this company called OhmBody selling a wellness device. That may be the answer women are looking for. It's a small handheld unit connected to a discrete earpiece, and that's it. It's battery powered with no Wi-Fi needed, no charging necessary. And by the end of this video, we will determine if we should trust the device in the safe framework so you can navigate this space with the knowledge that you deserve. I'm Aiden Jordan. I have an MBA in healthcare management and my master's in health and exercise science, and this is Amplify Women's Health. So, there's no app. There's no cloud server storing your data, your name, your symptoms, or your location. You wear an earpiece during your period for 2 1-hour sessions a day, and the device delivers gentle electrical stimulation to the nerves around your outer ear. OhmBody does this one thing. So when a device is architecturally incapable of storing your health data, it cannot misuse it. And that is really important for step 1 of the SAFE framework, which is security. Step 2 is to analyze the device's privacy policy. OhmBody's privacy policy meets the standards. They're not collecting any of your data. And so far, they have not had any data privacy issues because the device is architecturally incompatible with collecting data. And I'm not anti a device collecting data. Every FemTech device that I've used so far has like some form of data collection. Even if they don't store your data on a server, you still have to input your data. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't care to be fiddling with an app and you're dealing with the symptoms that OhmBody may be able to treat, this could be an exciting option for you. Okay, now you also need to look at their FAQs for additional clarity. They are really clear questions with transparent answers. They make it really clear that their device right now is listed as a wellness device, that they are not FDA cleared to treat heavy menstrual bleeding yet, and that they are actively completing clinical trials to ensure that that device is effective in treating heavy menstrual bleeding. They also let you know who the device is for and who it's not and why it could be beneficial to you. Like if you're somebody who does not want to go on hormonal birth control, or you need a treatment device that is compatible with other medications that you might be taking. So OhmBody's security is very strong. It scores really well in this category. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Accuracy asks us to consider if there is regulatory approval, is there clinical validation, does the company have partnerships with medical institutions, and what do independent review sites say? So for independent reviews, you can always check out the FemTech doctor who runs the platform She Ranked, which has independent reviews from clinicians on these FemTech devices to assess their accuracy and reliability. And there's also FemNovate's market maps, which can let you keep an eye on the regulatory status. This is a wellness device. And I think the wellness industry, there's a lot of mistrust there, and it can make it hard for actual exciting innovations like OhmBody to move forward or gain trust in people's eyes when they don't have that FDA clearance yet. But the lack of clearance is not a sign of bad faith. It's a sign of where the research is. They are undergoing the process to earn FDA clearance for treating heavy menstrual bleeding with their funded Luna trial, which is a double randomized control trial. Now, you might be wondering, how does an earpiece manage bleeding? And that is where accuracy and foundation come together. So let's get into it. So the neural tourniquet is how this works. And this is a concept that was developed by the parent company of OhmBody, which is a team of neuroscientists and engineers. And they've done this research for decades in their clinical work, and they were using the neurostimulation technology, which is transcutaneous stimulation. So stimulation of the nerves through the skin. The vagus nerve has branches that stem all the way to your outer ear. So In the research, they've looked at how you can stimulate the vagus nerve and how that can be used to treat a variety of conditions. So when they're doing all this vagus nerve stimulation research, they find out when the vagus nerve is stimulated, it activates the spleen, which then primes your platelets to be more effective at clotting blood. So they found in this technology is also decreasing blood loss. So they said to themselves at Spark Biomedical, can we apply this to other things? And therein came OhmBody. And enter Amy Gaston, the now president of OhmBody. In regard to clinical validation, they completed a pilot study with 16 women with some exciting results. They found about 50% reduction in menstrual blood and periods shortened by about 20%, as well as improved scores on mood. So for medical institution partnerships, OhmBody is partnered with Yale's Center for Bleeding Disorders, as well as Oregon Health and Science University. Now for foundation. When we are checking out foundation, we need to look at 5 things, as well as evaluating their marketing materials. Okay, so OhmBody was not built by a wellness company trying to enter women's health. OhmBody's parent company, Spark Biomedical, is a team who spent decades studying vagus nerve stimulation in clinical medicine. Before OhmBody even existed, they built and received FDA clearance for Spiroascent, which is a wearable simulation device for opioid withdrawal. When they looked closer, they realized wearable neurostimulation technology could be applied to a different clinical use case, heavy menstrual bleeding. If they access the vagus nerve's auricular branch with the earpiece, they could activate the neural tourniquet, which promotes blood clotting and decrease heavy menstrual bleeding. So OhmBody not only stimulates the vagus nerve, they also stimulate the trigeminal nerve. And they believe that the vagus nerve stimulation activates the neural tourniquet, which promotes the blood clotting, decreasing the heavy menstrual bleeding. There's also evidence that stimulating the trigeminal nerve can help shift the body from fight or flight towards parasympathetic balance, which is the rest and digest stage. So moving away from the stress response that's amplified by every period symptom. When we're assessing a device for equity, we need to look at the product features for inclusivity and representation, as well as affordability. Okay, so when we're looking at, if you look on OhmBody's website, you will see women of different races modeling the device with different hair textures and styles. And if you're looking at affordability, you will see the device is $559. However, and that may be steep, but it originally was $719 last summer. So they've already made an effort to lower the price, making it accessible to more people. And they make it available with HSA and FSA payments through your insurance, using Flex, as well as Shop Pay, so you can do payment plan installations. So I recognize and appreciate the ways that the different avenues they're using to make this accessible to all women, regardless of if you have an insurance account like HSA or FSA, or if you're somebody who doesn't have that and a payment plan makes this more accessible to you. Now, we also need to consider the company's advocacy and industry influence. If you go back to the OhmBody website, they have a blog called Periodically Speaking, where they break down the Luna trial, they interview their advisory board, which is a team of women doctors. So is OhmBody safe? Well, the science isn't new. It's decades old and built by a company who's already gone through the FDA clearance for this technology with a different use. The first peer-reviewed pilot trial for menstrual use showed about 50% average reduction in blood loss. The neural tourniquet mechanism is real, documented, and consistent with what the clinical data showed. The company lowered their price within the first year and added payment flexibility. The team is credentialed and the mission is consistent. So what is missing? Well, right now it's their FDA clearance to use this device for heavy menstrual bleeding. The definitive randomized control trial is funded and underway, and is promising science at an early but legitimate stage. No. All right, so who is this device for right now then? If you're managing heavy menstrual bleeding, this could be highly effective for you. If you are dealing with other symptoms and mood dysregulation as well as severe cramps, This device could also be effective for you, especially if you do not want to use especially if you're looking for a non-hormonal and of course non-surgical option to manage heavy bleeding. This may not be as effective for or worth the investment right now is if your symptoms are managed with Advil or other NSAIDs, if you are not a heavy bleeder. This may not be the best investment for you right now. There might be other devices that would better suit your needs. However, this is not a device for someone with mild cramps who manages their cycle with Advil. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for what you're paying and the way this device works, it may not change your experience. You may not see the kind of improvement that you want when you are investing almost $600 into a device. I'll leave you with this. The story is not finished. Research shows that up to 84% of women experience menstrual pain, and at least 1 in 4 experience pain severe enough that they need medication and miss work, school, or daily life to manage it. If you know someone who's been dealing with heavy menstrual bleeding or another women's health issue, send them this video and share the channel Amplify Women's Health. Not because one device I share on this platform is going to be the complete answer, but because women deserve to know their options, and that share helps YouTube know that this content matters and helps me keep making it. OhmBody is evidence that serious science is finally being applied to a problem women have been told to just manage. And this is just one device in a category that's growing fast. If you want to keep learning about what's being built in FemTech and how to evaluate for yourself, then check out the Tech Tuesday playlist. Every week, I run a device through the SAFE framework so you can navigate this space with the knowledge you deserve. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much to my friends in the Mastermind, the Deep South FemTech Advisory, who support this channel from the jump and encourage me to keep making these videos. Let me know if there's a device that you want to see. As always, I am Aiden Jordan, and this is Amplify Women's Health.